As you can see, this is the back wheel. There's the front. Above this is the shower. We noticed when we have a shower, we seem to get water coming out. So we need to find out, where is it coming from? So we've pulled off the vanity unit, run all the taps, checked all of the joints, no leak. So we've also tested both the drain sockets. Still no water coming from there. The only other thing I think it can be is the seal. So although this motorhome is only 4 years old, the seal does not look great. I don't know if you can see very well around here. Let's move the vanity. I think that's where it's coming from. All the way around. Doesn't look particularly well sealed. You can see holes here. So let's turn the water on and see if we get any water from outside. Taking the shower head off, so you can see you can have more directed water. A little awkward to get to now the vanity unit is upside down. Let's turn it on. There. And a bit of water. And let's see what's happened outside. I'm not sure if you can see that, but we have water dripping. I think we found our culprit. As you can see, it's now very wet inside, so to be able to do anything with the silicone, we need to dry it out. We're going to use good old kitchen roll, but that'll only dry the surface. So to be able to get underneath it, I could turn the central heating on. I am at home, we are plugged in on electric, but it'll just take forever. So something that is really good, and we use it in the house all the time, and I've brought it into the motorhome. It's this far infrared heater. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry everything off with kitchen towel, and when that's done I'm going to turn on the infrared heater, because that will dry underneath. Obviously we don't want to leave anything wet underneath. I don't want to damage anything that's underneath all the plastic, but I also don't want to have to take all the plastic off to dry it. But the far infrared heater will do a fantastic job of that. Let's come back later when it's dry. Right, the job today is to remove all of the grouting from around the shower tray. Got a lot of shower. And it's not just this bit above the wheel arch. Toilet's okay, that's not grouted in, but all around this side. And if you can see, it's got quite a nasty split. All the way around. So I brought a product to make it a bit easier. The product that I've brought, Unibond. Never used it before. It's a silicone sealant remover which you can use on plastics. Let's give it a go. Okay, that's all done. Now we've got to wait 3 hours for it to do its magic and hopefully soften all the silicone. I've cleaned up as much as I can off the plastic, but I think I might give it another go because there's still a little bit left, and obviously don't want to damage the plastic. Let's have a look, see what it looks like. To get into all the bits, not quite sure how I'm going to scrape that out of there. As you can see, covering all of the silicone, and this now takes 3 hours to soften it all up. And then hopefully we'll be able to remove it. Catch you later. Right, let's have a look now. So I've tidied it up and cleaned off any excess. And you can see it's much better. We're about an hour into it now. Doesn't look like it's dissolving much. I think this is going to be the tricky bit. Along here and down the side of the toilet over here, because I can't get my hand down there. This may be easier to disconnect, but for now I've managed to wrap the shower hose around the tap, and any leaking water will then go straight down the drain. Shouldn't really leak unless I catch the handle. As you can see, it looks a lot neater. Haven't got any of the dissolving I don't know what you call it, gel on the plastic, so it's all on the silicone. Hopefully that'll make it a lot easier to remove, but I guess we'll find out in about an hour and a half. See you later. Well, here we are, 3 hours later. Let's have a look and see if it's done its job. Wow. Right. I think that's worked. Time to get the tools out. So that's all the old silicone out. As you can see, it's a lot tidier, but obviously now we've got a big gap, so the next thing we need to do is to fill this gap with fresh silicone to stop it leaking. So to do this, we're going to use this 3M tape that we can make a nice straight line. Well, that's the taping finished. As you can see, I've left a couple of millimetres in between so that I can get a really good seal. That was harder than I thought it was going to be. Getting around the corners. So I kind of edged the bottom one in, which is folded up on the outside, but that's fine. I've got a straight, clear edge on the side where the... Oh, that's come off a little bit. So the side where the sealant's gone nice and straight. I cut it around the awkward joins to get a better seal and make it look a bit better when it's finished. And getting behind the toilet's not that easy. Need to be a bit of a contortionist. Oh well, let's go get the sealant and see how that goes. So the next thing to do is to put the silicone in. So I'm using Unibond. Now the reason I use this one is I use it at home. It's very flexible, lasts a long time, it's waterproof obviously, it's mould resistant, and I think for the van, where the van's moving all the time, I think the flexibility is the main key thing that I'm after. Now to be able to do this, you obviously need to cut the top off first of all. And when you cut the top, I'm doing it on my chopping board because I don't want to mark the side. So I'm going to take the top off. I've got a new Stanley blade on here, so it's nice and sharp, so mind your fingers. Now obviously there's lots of different types of silicone that you can use, but for me, I've used this one before and I trust how well it works. So that's the top off. I'm going to scroll this over, bend it over, tighten it up. Also, what I like about this one is it has a cap on it, so if I don't use all of it, which I won't, there's a lot in here, then I can put the cap back on it and it will stay fresh. Now there is a hole on here already, as you might be able to see, but because I want a little bit more precision, I'm going to cut it at an angle. Now if you look on here really closely, there's some guidelines. I'm going to go for the smallest and let's see how we get on with it. So again at the angle, cut down, and that will hopefully give me more precision when I'm applying it. You obviously need a gun with one of these, so we'll put that in. Can be a bit tricky to get in, to line that one up as low as it goes and then use the pump to pump it in. So when you apply the silicone, obviously the pressure on the handle keeps the silicone coming out at the end, and when you release the pressure, the silicone does continue to come out, so I always release it to stop it coming out. When I've applied the silicone in, I use my finger to press the silicone down, and it's very important that you go both ways to make sure that there's no air gaps in there. Once that's done, pull the tape off really quickly, because if you leave it on and the silicone starts to cure, it doesn't give you a very straight line. So silicone, press it in both ways and pull off the tape. And when you pull off the tape, make sure that you pull it at an angle away from the silicone and that it doesn't touch anything else. So let's give it a go. There we go, all finished. And you can see a nice straight seal all the way around. And hopefully that should now be watertight. So we wait for it to dry. Put the sink back together and then we'll run the water test. Right, the only place I can think of now is here, because the toilet's actually not sealed in across the bottom. So that water's got to be going through there. I wonder if anyone else has ever sealed that in. I think I might give it a go, because this bit doesn't move. The toilet seat swings around from here. There is a bit of a worry that that's not sealed. Okay, I guess that's the next job. Let's have a look, see if anyone else has done it first. You never know. If not, let's give it a go. Third time lucky, or is it fourth? We've now sealed in the base of the toilet, as you can see. So let's test it again and see whether we still get a leak. So I'm going to turn the water on, and I'm hoping this time it's fixed it. So I'll run some water. all along the seal. Turn that off. You can see it is pooling down there a little bit now, so at least it's not running away, but it is coming down into the drain. So it doesn't look like it's leaking. So let's go and have a look outside. This is the outside. Now it has been raining this morning, so the side of the van is a little bit wet, but so you can see we have no water leaking out. I think that is job done.